Hey guys, it's me Media, and welcome to another edition of What is Metroid Canon? Today we're going to be talking about Other M. Before we begin, I just want to make it clear I'm aware there is at least one video discussing the mistranslations of this game, so I had Lens from Discord, a professional translator, look at the Japanese script for me to verify what is or isn't accurate. Everything in this video uses that translation, which I will also link for reference in the description. Anyway, let's get started. Other M begins with Samus following a distress signal from a craft known as the Bottle Ship, recalling the events that took place directly after Super Metroid, essentially waking up from quarantine and making the announcement Zebes, and everything on it has been eliminated. While it's never confirmed how much time took place since then, considering Samus refers to those events as a faded memory to most of the Federation, it was probably a decent amount of time. Regardless, upon boarding the ship, Samus soon discovers she's not alone. Adam and his crew have business there as well. Of course, Samus and Adam had history long before this game. You see, before Samus' history as a bounty hunter, there was a time when she worked with the Galactic Federation, Adam Malkovich being her commanding officer. In the manga, one of her first missions under his command was an attempt to save the Chozo from the space pirates' initial attack on Zebes, which preceded the events of Zero Mission. She would eventually disband from the Federation after an incident involving his brother Ian. Due to the unit he was in at the time becoming unstable during a rescue mission, Adam made the order to dislodge the unit, rather than give Samus a chance to save him. Even if that choice may have been the right one, the idea still didn't sit right with her. She could have even felt belittled with the decision. You see, Samus hated how her crew treated her like a child, or differently, just because she was a woman. In fact, despite what the English translation would have you believe, she despised Adam referring to her as something weak, like a lady. It's very well possible a combination of all these things is what led to her decision to become a bounty hunter. Whatever the case may be, back on the bottle ship, she would find herself following Adam's orders at least one more time. Exploring the ship, it becomes quite apparent something is clearly wrong here, probably around the time they discover cybernetic Zebesians with Galactic Federation insignias. Turns out the bottle ship was part of a project managed by the Galactic Federation Army attempting to create a group of living bioweapons, with these space pirates taking center stage. How would that be possible though if Zebes and everything with it was eliminated? Turns out the Federation Army found some remaining scraps on Samus' suit while she was in quarantine and used those to recreate the species, along with others, like Metroids. Not just any Metroids, but as hinted earlier in the game, genetically altered Metroids that can't be frozen. Apparently infants still can though? I'll buy it. Living in PA, I know of at least one insect only weak to poison in early stages. The point is, it's just a horrible idea. To make matters worse, one of the species they brought back, this unsettling little bird, would cause the space pirates to lose any control the army would hope to have. Why? Because unbeknownst to them, it was a clone of Ridley. Samus' reaction in this infamous scene would honestly make sense, given the situation. Even putting aside the fact she suffered PTSD in the manga, a far worse case at that, imagine the scene. Here's this being that's haunted her for as long as she can remember, who kept coming back time and time again. Finally, at the end of Super Metroid, she defeats Ridley once and for all. That horrible chapter of her life finally has closure. She never has to see the face of her parents' murderer ever again. And then she does. There would be no way to prepare your mind for something like that. It would be like seeing a ghost. Well, you know what I mean. Getting back on topic, Ridley's influence on the Zebesians would turn them from chaotic beings to an organized destructive force. Speaking of which, space pirates, Metroids, Ridley, this is starting to sound a lot like Zebes, isn't it? Only thing it's missing is Mother Brain. Or is it? Apparently, the scientists developed and used an artificial intelligence to recreate and control the space pirates using telepathy, and the only way to do that was, you guessed it, base it off Mother Brain. When the idea later came to create Metroid clones, they wanted something with a human appearance that the Metroids could recognize as their mother, so they created the android known as MB, which would also develop Mother Brain's consciousness. The plan seemed to work well enough. MB did develop a special bond with the Metroids, much like Samus and the hatchling, likely the whole idea this was based on. Interesting of note is that one of the original Metroids recreated from Samus' remains became a queen, which would seem to imply that hatchling was even more special than previously thought. As for the plan itself, the problem is that it worked too well. The bond that was developed was so strong, MB started developing emotions. It eventually got to the point where they would even try to remove them, essentially removing her consciousness. Obviously, MB wouldn't take too kindly to that idea and escaped, directing the bioweapons to attack everyone on board immediately after, leading to the distress call Samus initially received. That really seems like the most logical conclusion to all this. Realistically though, this whole project was done in secret. Not everyone in the army was involved with it. In fact, Adam wrote a report stating why this was a bad idea from the start. That clearly didn't stop them from trying though. They even went so far as to assign a deleter to Adam's group to eliminate everyone in the unit, so no one would discover the secret. Unfortunately for this deleter, or rather James, he would eventually meet his end in the hands of MB as well. It's a good thing Samus put a wrench in this plan, because MB was planning to take the ship along with his entire army and attack the Federation outright. MB even tried to trick Samus into a false sense of security by pretending to be the one who directed the whole project and sending her off to Sector 0, where the unfreezable Metroids were being held. Adam was able to see what was happening and rushed out to stop her by shooting her. Considering how stubborn Samus was in the original incident, he probably knew she would still try to go inside regardless of the danger, and stunning her was the only legitimate way to prevent her from doing so. Adam then explains he would go inside, as causing enough damage to the sector would cause it to detach and self-destruct. This of course means he would have to sacrifice his life to destroy it. Could Samus have maybe been able to venture in and counter the antifreeze Metroids long enough to survive? Perhaps, but as Adam explains, just like the situation with Ian, the chance of losing Samus is far too much of a risk, as there likely isn't anyone out there who could even hope to replace her. Therefore, if the possibility is there to avoid the chance completely, why take it? Be that as it may, Samus is still horrified by even the idea of losing Adam. I mean, Samus admits that after losing her parents, she viewed Adam as a father figure. It would understandably be quite upsetting to lose the last connection to any sort of family figure she ever had. Even so, after one last neat little exchange between each other, Samus knew what she had to do and make sure Adam's sacrifice didn't go to waste. She didn't have to worry about Ridley though. This baby already took care of him. Or rather, baby clone. She did at least stop her though. In the end, everyone was able to put a wrench in the plan long enough for the feds to arrive and finally eliminate MB once and for all, along with the decision to destroy the bottle ship within a couple days. This was enough time for Samus to secure one last reminder of her previous CO. What though about the creatures on the ship? Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? See you guys next mission.